Hello, welcome back to March's Planning Mess. I'm just gonna zoom out a bit. Whoops, there we go. Okay, it's been a little while since I have logged in, but I just wanted to give you an update of how things are going. So, you can see I am in my Sterling Ink N2, which I used very consistently for the first 3 months. Got overwhelmed, tried a bunch of other things, wanted to come back and realized I didn't have enough pages in the back, so abandoned ship, went to a part 2 of the Sterling Ink B6, which is working fine, but have kind of toyed with some layout ideas and have come back to this for a little bit, and it's actually working quite well. So for those of you that remember, what I did was I was playing around with this Dutch door idea of using basically 2 spreads per week because I just don't quite have enough space in this or in the back. And my idea is to just buy 2 of these vertical compact layouts so that I don't have to I can just use 6 months worth of weeklies and all of the dailies in the back, and then again for the next. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with my words today. So the amount of pages in the back is probably enough for me for my dailies, and whatever other pages I want to do in the back of the book, and so feeling like I could use this 6 months at a time, since they don't make a 2-part N2, unfortunately. So that was my idea, and this is my first week of using it. So I decided I would dedicate September to this book and just see if I could pull it off, since it's when Sterling Ink launches their 2026 stuff. In fact, today is the day, and I'm gonna go place an order because I'm so excited about it. I just got done with work. So anyway, because I had done this week, and what I had failed to do in my making of the Dutch door, I cut through here, and what I did was I glued down the piece that should be at the top of this page. And it looks fine, but what I did was I messed up the week coming afterwards. And so I decided that wasn't going to work moving forward. But also, when I went to do this spread, I accidentally did it in the middle of September instead of this week of August. And so at the time, I was like, oh, well, I just redid it where it was supposed to be. So when it came time to do the spread, the next one that was available was here, but I had already made a spread for this week, which is the one I did accidentally. So I just decided, instead of having the weekly spread here and the to-do list section on this page, I would just swap it, because it was already this was all laid out for the other week. So I've kind of done some whiting out and rearranging some things to make it work for this week instead of the week of August that I had originally made it for. So that's what I've done this week. So, here we are at the end of Friday. So this has worked well, because I always like to see my day in the weekly format, in the vertical time slots. I need to have that as a reference point. So that's been really nice to have that available. And then on this side, and I've worked through some of the other spreads to rearrange it just a little bit. I haven't done anything with my mood tracker, because I actually need to get my little sticker that tells what each one of these columns represents from my other planner. But I can remember back and fill that in for this week. And then I have a section for chores to kind of figure out what things I want to be doing, like my weekly chores when I get home from work around the house. So I didn't really fill in too much. I need to kind of work that with my husband and figure out how we're going to handle things. So the to-do list, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit for that. And I need to adjust my light so we can see what's going on, maybe. maybe not. Here we go. Need to work with him to figure out how we're going to handle some of the chores because of our schedules being different. But as you can see, I've got this section over here, like a running to-do list where I can dedicate which day of the week the task is for. And then down here at the bottom, I'm trying to do a 5-minute pickup in all the rooms, and I was hoping to kind of spread it out through the week, but today is probably going to be the day that I go through and try and at least do that much in each room. So I've been working hard since my kids left for boarding school to kind of work on each room at a time as a more of a deep clean. But anyway, that's how that works. And as you can see, like some of these chores I assigned earlier in the week, and I just keep reassigning them as I don't get them done. So this works well for me to not have to rewrite them on a different day. Having a weekly to-do list, but yet also having the ability to assign days is really helpful to me. In my other layout, I was using the bottom section down here to put to-do lists underneath, the timeline, like you would see on this spread. Like this section would be the to-do list, but it just wasn't quite working for me. It works, but I didn't love it. And so this is working pretty well. So I'll just kind of flip through and show you what the rest of the weeks look like for the month that I've set up. So this is next week. And then so I moved the running to-do list to this side, so it made a little bit more sense. This is the 5-minute pickup section, and then all my to-dos will be here, and the days I assign them to on this side, and it will probably take up the whole space. I've got a place for my moods and my chores, and I don't have anything assigned here, but if I had some sort of, you could put a meal plan there in theory, but I do my meal planning, a lot of it in my Fitness Pal and other places. I really don't do it in this book. So I haven't done that, but somebody else could use that idea and it would work quite well. And down here I've got a notes section. This last week in my notes section, I've just put, let's see, I guess it's 2 over. Yeah, like I had an upcoming appointment in March that I scheduled this week when I was at the doctor, and I was like, oh, I don't have that days for that or a monthly spread for that yet. And so I was a little bit worried, but what I did was in the back here, the very back, I went ahead and there's June, May's in there, April, March. And so I was able to put, my appointments in for the rest of the year, because that is always the struggle when you're in the last 6 months of the year and you go to the doctor, or even during the year. It's like they want to make that 6 month or 6 or 12 month appointment, and you have nowhere to really put it other than like a notation somewhere. So this, especially 6 months ahead, I need to have. So my thought is, okay, so my first book I would use between January and June. Obviously they give you the rest of those months, and it would be no problem to schedule out going forward. But then when you get to now, and unfortunately they don't make the N2 in the academic, because otherwise that would be absolutely perfect, because I would use the yearbook for the first half of the year and the academic for the second half of the year, because again, it would give me the academic calendar going July to the next July. But they don't make one of those yet. So probably what I will do the second half of the year would be to go ahead and, use the August to December section, and then maybe redate these ones for the next year. And I know that's a little awkward, but aside from just redating the entire month, that's kind of where I'm at. And the other thing is, I was like, oh, maybe there's just an undated one and I can just do it the way I want. For N2, they do have an undated, but it's horizontal, and I could, in theory, make it work by like redrawing everything, but there is no way in the world I want to take the time to do that. So I've kind of nixed that idea, which is unfortunate, because I think for what I'm trying to do, the undated would actually be perfect. But anyway, it's okay. I will make this work somehow. But since this was already full of stuff, I couldn't use those months in the beginning to redate for the next year. So I just did them in the back. And I only had to do 5 spreads, because you do get you know, it comes with December and January. So I had January in, and I just had to do, see, I made myself a little place for appointments, but this is just, to me, it's not the same as having those calendars, because, you know, come August, when your kids are in school, that you get that academic calendar. And so you have all of their appointments for the rest of the year. But in this book, because they're by year and they don't have the academic option, then you have those 6 months that you have to wait, you know, till beginning of September to order, and then however many weeks till it arrives before you can have your next year's one. So that's, yeah, if I could have an undated version of this or an academic version of this, that would kind of solve my second half of the year issue. But anyway, it's, yeah, so that's how I'm thinking, and that's how I'm going to go ahead and order. I'm just going to order one book instead of two, even though I plan to use two, because it's just, there's no, who knows what's going to happen. She might come out with an N2 academic come May or whenever it is that she launches those. So there's no need to jump ahead. And knowing me, I might change my mind and not want the size anymore, and then I'd be stuck with something I'm not going to use. Okay, so the weeklies are going great. I was showing you those. So that's this week. Here is next week. And then going forward, they will always be the weekly spread first, and then the to-do list. And I've been using up some of these cute stickers that I have to kind of a different layout. I mean, I like this. And this is a to-do list actually, but I may use it more for notes. I do like having a place to have like a shopping list, which is kind of shown up in my notes area, and also an errands list, because sometimes it's like after work, okay, I've got an hour before things close. What can I do? So I may just do my running to-do list here. I don't know. We'll see. And I may regret having stuck those down, but anyway. And then there is the last week of September. And again, I put some more of those stickers down. They're adorable and cute. And then there's one more week. Oh, I didn't even really think. No, that's going 28. Okay, so this is, because we're using two at a time, this is now end of October, beginning of November, if it was as it would have been. So I would have had to redate this section. Like, I need to get rid of the bottom of that 10 because it's supposed to be for November. So there was something really important I was going to say, and I've lost it. But anyway, you can see I wouldn't be able to do, I could potentially do October and use up the rest of this book. And then I would have run out of space. So let's go to the daily section. This is where I'm going to journal, and I haven't kept up with that this week at all, but I can pull it together. I'm not writing huge amounts in my journal anymore. Now, if there's a time where something really exciting or frustrating that I need to process, then, I mean, this is not divided up, so I can take as much space as I need. And that has been the one other thing that has kind of made me nervous about doing an N2 for next year is, what if I suddenly want to write a lot and I run out of spaces in the back? Because if this was a 6-month book, it would have 180 pages. This one has 119. So that's not enough for a page a day. Well, I'm for sure not going to do a page a day. And so I can probably, I usually kind of divide these in half. This one I didn't, just because I had filled all that in, but I either divide them in sections like this or in half, and then just however long it is. I kind of like the long narrow, which is part of the reason why I'm attracted to this size. So anyway, I probably, like I said, I haven't even started writing, but after I get done with Monday's journal entry, I may divide that. I don't know. But I probably, going forward, will divide that and just see how much space I was going to use. I kind of wanted to do that before I ordered. But I'm remembering that they do make the blank booklets in the N2 size. So worst case scenario, I run out of space. I'm going to just order myself a bunch of N2 booklets and just have them on hand, and that can always be tucked in somewhere, and I can just continue the journal for the rest of that 6 months in there, and I won't have to worry about running out of space. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to order today, and I'm excited about it. So my only things that make me not 100% super happy about this is I wish it had more space. I wish it had either academic or undated. And I wish that they had a cover that was not only forest. Forest is the only color you can get the N2 vertical compact in. So that is unfortunate. But you know what? We keep these in covers. Who even sees what the color of it is, right? All right, so that's where this is going quite well. I'm very happy with it. I will probably order a clear cover and a couple of these pencil boards to put inside the clear cover should I want to go without something bulky like this. I do like this a lot. I ordered this on Etsy, I think, and it was made really well. I think it came from Ukraine, and it had a pen loop, but the way the pen loop was sewn in, you can see I've taken it out here. It was sewn folded down this way, so it didn't, number one, want to lay out like this. It wanted to bulk up under here, and it was very narrow, and it was like, this is a thick leather, so it was like suede and thick and inflexible, and it just didn't, it wasn't working for me unless you had a really thin pen, which I don't. So I ended up just removing it. And I cut this little hole here because I was thinking those little traveler notebook things you can clip on with the pen loop. I thought I could do that, but what I was forgetting was that those kind of bend up the metal part, and that would have made this close funny. But what I did was I poked a hole, and I took an elastic here, and I took the pen loop, cut it apart, and made this little band here, like you find in a traveler's notebook. And so here we go. We have got this set up, and I like this a lot, but it is bulky, and I do like to change things around. So I do have also a clear cover for this that could work. And I may get some Hobonichi Weeks covers. I have a Hobonichi Weeks that's kind of a wallet style. I've got several options, so when I get bored with the planner cover, I can change it. And I'm going to stick these and my stickers back in and sign off. Thanks for watching, and if you're ordering today, that's exciting. I guess they've already run out of a couple things that they were trying out, so that's really cool. The complete planner sounds really nice, but I know better after having my paper test experience with 600 pages, the 680 or whatever it is that she has, plus the big bulky cover. There's no way I would want to carry that around even in a B6. So I wasn't tempted by that, but I love that she tries to make everyone happy. So I need to officially make my comments known about the N2 and see if we can get any of those things addressed, maybe potentially in the future. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.